respond to that. Yeah. So, please go ahead, Catherine.
No,
Next slide.
that was my apologies if you just heard the recording. Sorry.
Okay. Okay. Next. Okay. If you talk about stakeholder engagement, it is groundwater is very specific because it is invisible, and it is invisible so that the main issue of groundwater are also invisible. So we need advocacy and communication to make it visible to those who are taking decision, to other stakeholders also. And also a specific characteristic of groundwater is that it is dispersed. So it is accessible to all. It is like an ubiquity that groundwater has. You can, in general, find it everywhere. And you have many users, private borehole that have private borehole. You have independent users. So these two characteristics, the invisibility and the multiple independent user, should guide our advocacy strategy in communication to different stakeholders with different perception and perspective to show it. Stakeholder engagement in data collection, enforcement, and also coordination, because they are in the specific role that you have in groundwater, so that this engagement is key to collect data, to have enforcement, and also to have good coordination. Ownership also to protect their own resources, because these stakeholders need to be aware that by agreeing to some regulation, they are protecting their own resources. And this is some thought that I wanted to share on this stakeholder engagement. Do you have some question about this before we go to the next?
There was a message in the chat
Yeah.
about springs. Do you want to bring that up, Sufalik?
Yes, actually, I think it's very common people talking about invisibility of groundwater sources. But in term or in case of spring, in my country, they categorize as groundwater as well. In this case, we could observe it, right?
Okay. So you have sources that is also groundwater. So we can so it you're right. Talking about when compared to surface water, where you have the level, you can see that the level is dropping or something like that. In groundwater now, you need to have indirect measure to get it, to make it visible. So other thing also pollution. If you it can be polluted and we didn't know, we can pollute water without knowing that we are polluting groundwater. So something like that. It's the specificity of groundwater. Okay. Another comment or question? Okay. Now we can move to the discussion. Let's talk. So we have two questions to you, and can discuss about this. First of this question, so when you think about groundwater in your own community or region, what role does it play in people's daily life? So please share your experience, on that before we move to the next question. Someone can want to take a floor. Okay, South.
Thank you. Yes, thank you
Mhm.
for the floor. I think there's a bit confusion when we are talking about groundwater in my context. First, many sectors like the health use a lot of spring, but they don't call it groundwater.
Okay.
And we believe that groundwater is really crucial irrigation source for agriculture. But the irrigation sector themselves don't consider groundwater as irrigation because they care about big investment on surface irrigation. So I think this is a big confusion. And when we are at the community level, they don't call dark well or shallow wells as groundwater. So I think in my context, awareness and making better understanding is still another stage before we move on like a sustainable groundwater management. So I hope you may have like a kind of suggestion how can we move forward to the sustainable groundwater management while the understanding is still not at the sufficient level.
Thank you for your insights. Something that we experience in many countries that people. Surely you're from which country? You're from which country? Please recall me.
Laos, Southeast
Laos.
Asia.
Okay.
Yeah, in the
Okay.
Mekong region.
Okay. Because I'm asking because in many countries where you have many surface water, they don't consider groundwater as, and relevant resources. It is a little bit outlooks in groundwater because they see more surface water and we can get as a resource as they want to irrigation or something like that. And the same, aspect of behavior, we can have it in some Central Africa, for instance, for where you have many, the amount of rainfall is very, very great. So, so it's that. So we need, I think, also to emphasize that for drinking purpose, for instance, if you see drinking purpose, uh, uh, usually you cannot take directly from surface water for drinking purpose. So you need to treat the water. So it's not the case for groundwater, for instance. You can, in many cases, you can, in general, take it. So something that also can be in your advocacy, the importance of this specificity. And I don't know if other colleague can. I see. Yes, I think one challenge is on water quality, mostly in the northern region of Uganda and the part of eastern in the northern. Yeah, attribute to the way keeping it's attribute to high nitrate. Yeah, and further can be okay. So it is in the chat box about pollution, water quality in Uganda related to nitrate. I don't know if it is in urban environment or rural, because mostly in Africa we see this aspect in urban environment. Okay, thank you. Another comment? Or someone want to take floor?
I'm Surendra again. I didn't raise my hand, but just
Okay,
jumped
go
in.
ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, about the groundwater in some part of my country, which I come from Nepal, or you may know Nepal is a mountainous country where we have very high mountains and those snow-fed rivers are there, right? So this surface water is the main for irrigation or for drinking purpose
Mhm.
in many part of the mountainous region. But while we go down to the plain, bordering to India in the southern region, and then most of the people they rely on groundwater for everything. Though there is river nearby, but they don't go to river for daily use. For example, the household they use because the groundwater is warm in winter and it is cold in hot weather. So people are used to getting groundwater, be it shallow in depth or in deep tube well. Their daily life starts with the water, the groundwater.
Okay.
This is number one. This is for the household purpose, be it for your household purpose, drinking, cooking, or bathing or cleaning, or but also for cattle and then also for agriculture, many things. And also while it comes to tourism sector, the people they have to rely on water for various recreational activities and also farming, like for example it's not only for agriculture, right? Fish farming and others, whatever they do they just extract groundwater and use it. So this is second. And the third and very important is if you are in any difficult circumstances like in hospitals or in public places, so just put one borehole and then you easily get it water. No need to go and take permission at many places from the government.
Okay.
It is so easily available, right? This is rampant. But the places where there is a scarcity of groundwater and slowly it has come becoming like what groundwater is also, it is a commodity. It is not free of cost. It is commodity where you need to pay something. It's not only for installing a borehole, rather you need to pay for your registration, for your renewal, for your taxes, and all those others. So I think it means economy as well. So while I talked about it in general, I say it is livelihood, it's economy, it's everything. So this is
Okay.
what the people's life, this groundwater plays in the areas where people heavily rely on groundwater. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's very important. Groundwater play a very huge role in many cases, economic, for also human health, as you emphasize. It's something that we need to recall and also to emphasize in for decision maker. Thank you very much. Okay, I see someone in Kenya, Rift Valley, one of the biggest groundwater management challenge is naturally occurring high fluoride level. Many communities rely on groundwater for drinking, but excessive fluoride causes dental and skeletal fluorides affecting health issue. Yes, it is the natural degradation of groundwater in some area. So I don't know if you have a solution from this sustainable defluorization technology and fluoride water filter, stronger groundwater governance. So yes, it is something that we have in many, in some country in Africa. For instance, in my case in Senegal, we have this issue of fluoride excess. So we have for 1 million people relying on these resources, that is with fluoride excess. So it's something that is a little bit common now, and the solution are here. So, for instance, treatment unit that we can have to treat it, but it is a little bit maybe expensive. Water will be not affordable for many of people. It is also an alternative to have alternative groundwater resources and to did water transfer. So it is some solutions that we are trying to do here. So thank you for your input and for this. Okay. We'll take one more and we go to the next question.
Mustafa, I was going to add, it's interesting because in the US, we have a little bit of controversy about fluoride being added to our drinking water, that it's added as an additive to help with bone density and teeth health and other things. And so we have some people that are digging boreholes and wells in their backyards so that they do not have the access to the fluoride, because there's a lot of assumptions that it also causes a variety of other health issues, even though the fluoride is highly regulated in the US and the amount. But I think it's interesting, just the difference. And I did have a quick question for Surendra. It sounds like you have a lot of the regulatory structure in your country, but do you have enforcement as well, or is it, is that something that is lacking? I'm just curious.
Oh, yeah, good question. I think in last couple of weeks, we also looked into the examples of Sundara, and then while we had opportunity to look into some of the some of the comments or discussions that were posted by the colleagues, it looks like it is one of the things that we need to discuss. We need to talk more. But talking about Nepal own context, it is not everywhere. I would have to be honest here. But where there is water stress, or where there is evidences of groundwater being depleted, and then the stakeholders, especially the local governments, the municipalities or the local authorities, they have started regulating it. Because in Nepal, there is 3 tiers of the government: is the federal government, the provincial government, and the local government, where all those 3 tiers of the government, they can legislate. At the federal level, in the country national level, it is not happening as such, because the new Water Act and the water resource bill is still pending for approval. But at the local level, they can also legislate, and in some of the municipalities, they have started what do you call the formation of the institutional mechanism, where let's say water board or municipality board, they can also circular some, let's say, so they also provide some circular of, especially if you are building a new house and if you want to build a new borehole, then you need to take license. Or if you are running one industry, then you need to register in some departments, some companies, let's say according to the act, and they also need to register in the local municipality. So it is there, but it looks like it is not aligned as such, and also there is absence at national level, so that is not uniform everywhere. And also I think it is not required as such, because this, let's say, water supply is in the constitution, let's say, the fundamental right. In the constitution, water access to water should be a fundamental right. And where there is enough water, and then maybe those authorities are not bothering much about the excess issue, rather they're talking more on the water quality issues. So I think this is a topic for discussion. But to answer it short, yes, in some of the areas where there is water scarcity, there are institutions, and there are also mechanisms where it has been regulated. There have been some attempts by some of the local authorities. Over.
Okay, good. Catherine? Catherine, is it okay for you?
Yes, yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. I think it's I appreciated you bringing up the idea of water being a right in the Constitution. I think that's a really good thought. I'd love to explore that more later.
Yeah, and also perhaps what that in many countries where you have this administrative structure with a federal administration, you have the coordination is more difficult to have. So that in other countries where you have a centralized, ministry with central database and some aspect you can decentralize, but we need to share all this information at high level, on national level, or in federal level in your case. Thank you for insightful. perhaps to add for fluoride, that fluoride in some rate is very good for health. It is under 1.5 milligram per liter. It's good for health. So in some country, like you recall, Qatar in the US, even in Switzerland, they also they use that to add the fluoride in the water. Yeah. But if you have above 2 or 4, it's problematic for health. So that's why it may be an issue in some aspect. Okay. Thank you very much. So we can move forward for the next question. What is one challenge or one success you've observed related to groundwater management in your context? Success or challenge that already observed related to groundwater? I prefer success because we are all talking about challenge issue. Please, if you have some successful, aspect to share it with those people. We're starting.
Can I break ice here?
Yeah.
I think maybe it would be helpful for other colleagues as well. Though I come from Nepal, but as I work with the regional office of UNICEF for last couple of years, then I also had opportunity to visit other countries in South Asian region, and then where including in Nepal, but is not in big scale, but especially from Afghanistan, I can share there are two things being done. I would say it is kind of a success, but it was derived from the challenge, because when there was a depletion in the groundwater, and then the groundwater monitoring was done, and at the same time, parallelly, there is also some interventions, in fact, in a pilot level done for MAR, the Managed Aquifer Recharge.
Okay.
While I was visiting Afghanistan at that time in the last winter, in fact, the like rainy season in Afghanistan, and there was clear evidence of increased groundwater table because of the impact of the check dams they constructed, because there was a natural river flow. The natural river flow was blocked, constructing some civil work, like they say some dam, and the water was not like water was retained for some time, and there was enough percolation time to go in the groundwater, and then it was ultimately recharging the aquifer. And then there was clear evidence, and the nearby monitoring wells were giving results of increased groundwater table. So this is what I can tell is both groundwater monitoring at one hand, and second hand is being done the managed aquifer recharge by constructing check dams. Thank you.
Thank you. One question: it was done purposely to recharge, or it was something that indirect effect of structure that was built, infrastructure that was built in Afghanistan? The case you were
Yeah.
talking.
In fact, this groundwater monitoring was done because of the community's perception and these utilities complaints on the reduced discharge from the wells. And then, then let's say then we started doing from UNICEF, okay, let's do some monitoring wells, and if really is groundwater is depleting, and if yes, in which rate, and if there is some seasonal fluctuation, let's also look into it, because if there are opportunities for that particular area, if we can do recharge. And then we did those two things at a pilot level in I don't know, is like 2 places in the southern region and 3 places in the eastern region, about 5 in total. But the government also is excited, and in Afghanistan, is not the stable government, is the de facto government, in fact, is interested, if this could be one of the ways on enhancing the amount in the groundwater, the quantity of water. I think maybe this could be scaled up later. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing this successful example. Another example, perhaps Tokyo also in Senegal, we have a dam also constructed to recharge the aquifer because it is located in a region near the sea. It is a coastal aquifer. So part of this aquifer is used to supply the capital. So with the level of groundwater dropping, you have saline intrusion into the aquifer. So it was constructed a dam to recharge the aquifer. So after many years of monitoring, we see that the saline intrusion is going back. So it's some examples that I can share also on research. Okay, another example.
Yeah, I wanted to share the Chilean experience. I'm from Chile. Sorry, I was shy to talk because I was late, and I've been late because I was in a field trip just today. Because Chile, we have a really successful urban water management, and we are one of the two countries in South America that you can actually drink water from the tap in urban areas. So from this really, I mean, a very successful experience, from this very successful experience, there is a really contrasting, I mean, when in this successful experience, it starts our problem because we have a big gap regarding the access to water in rural areas. So in Chile, the access in urban areas is almost 98% of drinkable water, and we have a really successful experience. But if you go to the rural areas, Chile is a very centralized country, so everything happens in the city, and particularly in the capital, Santiago de Chile. But if you go to the rural areas, almost 50% of the population doesn't have access to drinkable water, and the groundwater management has a special. I mean, I don't know how it is in different countries, and I'm curious about the percentage of water access that you have in each of your countries. But our groundwater management systems relies on committees, rural committees, that are ad honorem, that are not paid. So the state builds the infrastructure, but the management is not is delegated to these committees. And people doesn't have the capacity or the enough training to run this infrastructure, so the infrastructures get lost in most cases. So I think we have like this experience, as we are a country that has had a successful development story, but we are in this development trap in which there are some situations in which we are experiencing difficulties to really achieve good living standard for some part of our population. I know it's a different and contrasting probably situation, but this is why it's hard to build advocacy in Chile, because we have this myth that we are all okay with water access.
Okay. Good. Thank you. So, in a very good example of successful in urban area and a little bit more issue in rural area. So, something that also in many countries you have that the rate of water access is higher in urban and less in rural areas. Something that we observe also in our country. I have one question about what sources of water you are using in Chile, groundwater or surface water or both? And
It's
what is
both.
the percent? Both. Okay.
Yeah, it's both because in the north areas, the access to water basically relies on groundwater because it's a dry. We have a desert actually in the north of Chile because Chile has a very long geographical. Yeah. So and in the south, it's both groundwater and also from springs and superficial water.
Okay. And the capital city is using groundwater or surface water?
It relies on groundwater and superficial because we have I don't know what is the name because I'm not that into the technical, but we have the system where you close the rivers and then you we have glaciers, a glam, yeah, glam.
Yeah.
I'm going to search it, but we have glaciers that are basically diminishing through time because of the climate change.
The glacier.
Glacier.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for this example. Catherine, we move on or wait for one?
There was one conversation, and I had a question. I think it was, and I'm sorry, I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. Is it Okwi? Please correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But they were talking about there were some successes within Uganda, and one of them was requiring a registered hydrogeologist. Each drilling contractor had to have one. And so my question was, is there a shortage of experts now that that's a requirement? Do you have enough hydrogeologists in your country that are being trained, or is that a shortage now? I'm just curious, like, what are your universities now trying to increase or recruit? What does that look like?
Yeah.
Currently, hydrogeologists are coming through only one university. That is.
We don't hear you. Can you raise or be closer to the mic?
Currently, the hydrogeologists are coming out of only one university. So, and the drilling companies are not that many. Only that most drilling companies don't. They see the hydrogeologists as expensive to hire or have them as employees. So most of them have just trained on.
I don't know. You hear him? I don't have very.
It's very low.
Very low. Yeah. Can you be closer to the microphone, please?
As I was saying, I don't know if you can get me.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. It's very faint. If you want to reply in the chat, if that's easier, that's fine. If your microphone is not working. I heard you talking about that the drilling companies were working to recruit, it sounded like, rather than the actual universities maybe for training. So yeah, if you have a moment and want to put that in the chat, that's great. But Mustafa, I think that's the end of our discussion questions. We just have a couple of details to talk about, but I don't know if we want to open the floor for any general questions or anything like that.
Yes.
Thank you, Okwe. So he's saying one university graduates hydrogeologists.
Yeah.
But the companies are finding it expensive.
Expensive to hire hydrologists. Okay.
Mm.
Okay. Good.
It's sounds like there's a need for a stronger pipeline of experts so that it's not quite as expensive, perhaps.
Okay, you can, Catherine, I know you can go ahead. Yes.
Yeah, so just a couple of details, just a reminder, we're going to have our webinars each week at the same time, and we're in week 2, so we only have 2 more left. It's going to go very fast.
Yes.
And so just be sure that you're in the right time zone. And we thank you for, like I said in the beginning, investing the time and being here. And I find that adding it to my work calendar is helpful, and it's the same link every week. So it's in the course, and you can just put the same link in your calendar, so that you're able to access that more easily. To get your certification, to get your certificate at the end of the course, you have to complete all of the units, which are the online modules and the discussion board and the quizzes. And like we said earlier, that you have to pass the quiz with a minimum of 80%. If you have any issues with that, just let me know. And then in order to have the activity marked as complete for the discussion forums, you have to respond to the prompt, which I thank you for everybody that's been doing that. And then also you have to reply to, this says 2 other learners. We encourage that, but it's the requirement is to reply to 1 other learner. So if you can, find a learner that maybe it's the response is interesting and you want to add to that conversation, that just pushes our learning even more for all of us. One question or one thing I wanted to remind you is there is a Global Water Center app for the courses. So if you haven't downloaded that yet, it can be very helpful to download the app because it reminds you of when things are due. And then when we send anything in the discussion forums or the announcement forum, it will send you a notification. So that can be very helpful. And then also with the discussion forums, you can always subscribe to the discussion. There's a button that says right there, subscribe. And then whenever anybody responds to you or responds to the discussion, you'll also get a notification. So you can manage that and say how many, notifications you want, but the app will also allow you to access the material when you're offline. So if you're in an area where you don't have a lot of bandwidth and you would like to access the learning material, the app is a really great resource to do that. And then any general questions, learning@globalwatercenter.org is your the email that you can use. I monitor that sometimes, and then I also have another colleague that monitors that as well. So you can just reach out to me directly or use the learning@globalwatercenter.org. So just a couple of quick reminders. You are very welcome.
Yeah. Question? Do you have
I
questions?
just have, Mustafa, especially for Catherine, I have one. I was just curious to know, there are different modules under this Global Water Center, right? It's not the modules, different courses. And then if we do different courses all together, is there any provision for, I don't know, the certification, a different way of doing certification or acknowledgement of the fulfillment of these requirements? I don't know. Maybe it is beyond this particular course that we are currently going through, but I was just curious to know more about these other courses as well.
Yeah, thank you for that question. So currently we have our self-directed courses where you can earn a certificate, and those were the intro courses that many of you took. And then we have our fully facilitated courses, which this is one of them. And then we also have the courses in solar powered water systems, groundwater, boreholes, supply chain, and water quality. So those are currently the courses that we offer as fully facilitated cohort-based courses like this one. We are working, it's a project I'm working on right now, to take a couple of our courses. We're going to start with likely the water quality course and supply chain. And we're going to take out modules of them so that they're standalone modules that you can access and do whenever you would like. They're going to be on demand. And so we're looking at that as modules from different courses that you could take to earn some kind of other certification, or taking a suite of courses, putting that together to offer, a different type of certification. So right now we just have the standalone courses, but we're looking to modularize some of them to make them available for everyone, and that you can work through and take just the material that you need from each. Because, for instance, the supply chain course has a lot of information. It's quite long, and it's great. So half of it is great for supervisors, but the other half is just general information that anybody could use. So we're working on that. Unfortunately, it takes a lot of time and funds. So that's a project that I'm hoping to make a good dent in by the end of the year. And I always appreciate feedback. If there's something that you as a learner would appreciate in the field, or you see something that you think would add value, please let me know. I'm happy to get feedback.
Okay. Another question? Yeah. Perhaps just Catherine to remind to participate to the forum discussion, because this is a place where you can share your experience. You can also have to exchange on some good practices or some issues that you have. You will see that in other places, the same issue maybe are occurring, but they have a set of solutions. So something that it is important to share this experience and to share idea. So I encourage you really to go to the forum and to participate and to respond also to question to other colleagues, also to appreciate. Okay. Thank you.
Well, reach out to us if we can be of assistance. If you're having any issues in the course or you have any other questions, if there's anything you can add, like Mustafa said in the discussion forum, we can all learn from each other. But thank you for giving your time today. We appreciate it, and hope that whatever time of day it is, that you have the rest of the day to do something fun, productive, relaxing, whatever you'd like to do. But thank you for your time, and just reach out if we can be of assistance.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you all. We'll see you next week.
Thank you. See you. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
See you next week.